The next thing I'm going to do to this core support, I'm going to take this last piece, this last edge over here, I'm taking this completely off. I'm not cutting the back side loose, it doesn't need it. It's got one or two little pinholes in it that I'll weld up, but as far as cutting it completely off, unless I see something when I get this off, it changes my mind, I'm not taking that off. I am getting this off because I want to get back in here. I know it needs sandblasting, I know it's rusty. I want to replace a little bit of area right under here that's rusty and I cut off. So I want to do that. So the first thing to do is, here I'll be drilling spot welds to get this out. So I'm going to center punch my spot welds and then get my center punch drill out and drill them out. Some of these are, sometimes these spot welds are always easy to see. Trying to get in the center of them can be a challenge sometime too. I'm nearsighted, so I have to get down sometimes to see stuff. Even though I wear glasses, it's still. Also, I've got an automatic center punch, which I do use a lot. But on these heavier metals, the thick stuff, I can get a deeper, better punch with the hammer and a traditional punch than I can that little automatic punch. The little automatic punch is more for like sheet metal and stuff like that. At least for me. Now, you got one that does a better job, obviously, you know, use it. Hitting it twice, it's just something I do. I don't really need to. I just do it. There's more welds over here that I really can't see now. I'll find them when I get the other panel off, other edge of the panel off. Pretty sure that's one after looking at it here. I'm going to go ahead and mark it because I think it is. Well, maybe it's not. It's down off in space. So I'll wait. The back side here, I know you can't see. I'll probably wind up doing these on the floor. Let me see if I can touch you here though. Tell you what. Be easier to sit down and get where I can see it. Oops, that missed. There's one right there. I'm not sure. Actually, I think I see it right here. Find out. Okay, let me get the spot weld drill out. I'm gonna drill the center holes, center points first. And as I've mentioned before several times, I like to use cutting oil, even on the smaller bits. Just, they cut better and last longer. And of course, I'm not drilling all the way through. Alright, let's start drilling them. Yes, they can be aggravating. And I'm being on this cart or stand. Not the easiest way to do it because it tries to tip over. Just deal with it however you have to. This one's also out on the edge, which makes it that much more difficult to do. Yeah, I think that one is turning loose. Yep, that one turned loose. And we're in a curve. So we're on the edge, we're on a curve. And there's lots of things working against us here. Just take your time. You get little cutting oil on that one. This bit's not wore out yet, but I have cut a lot of spot welds with it. Okay. I think that's loose. I think I'm through. I'm trying not to punch all the way through. So I'm going to stop on that one for now. Do a couple more. Pilot stuck in my bits while it's walking on me. I just got to be slow and take my time till it grabs. Let's get my punch or chisel and see what I got. I always prefer to try to knock this loose by hand first. See there? You got it loose good and there's nothing holding. Well, I got that good. They're all completely loose. Not sure if you can see that, but that panel is moving. It's loose. I don't know about the end yet. Let me get over here so I can see. Get some light. We've got at least one over here for sure. Somewhere under here. think it's right here. Yeah, I see it now. This is a small, narrow chisel. It's definitely not, you know, a great big one. Big one, big, wide, thick one, just cause you trouble getting away. It's small, thin ones are fine for doing this kind of stuff. But I found the spot weld. It's right there. So I'm gonna put a little mark. There could be one more over here, but as rusty as this is, it may not be holding. Let me see if I can find the one over here, if there is one. Same deal, take the chisel. There is one over here. It's right down here. It looks like it's down almost off in space, which is kind of strange. I would say I'd cut it loose, but I don't want to cut up anything else under here. Let me wait till I get the panel out completely, I think, before I mess with that one, which was my original intent anyway. Drill this other one before I think you about right there. I do it, Roger. That popped. Okay, that's loose. Alright, now I gotta do the bottom. Alright, just don't let you drill like this. It'll take a minute to do it. Okay, that's got a taper. It's got a pin, angle. You can fix that easily, walk with it. I'm going to get it pretty. Let's see. Okay, loosen up. I'll do it on there. I'm trying to maintain it. I'll check it out. I think that's going to do it right now. I'll loosen up. Check with you. Yeah, that. Now, okay, wait on. As I mentioned before, these spot weld cutters are not the easiest thing to use. Drilling spot welds is aggravating. It can be monotonous if you're doing a lot of them, you know, 50, 100, whatever, in some big panel. It can really test your patience. Luckily on this core support, I've only had to drill a handful of them here and there. Now, you can see I was able to finally grab that pilot bit and pull it out. So it'll work better for about 5 seconds and get stuck again. But hey, that's just the way it goes. The pilot bits I used to use back doing collision repair were actually made by Snap-on, or I bought them from Snap-on. Their Blue Point might have been the brand. They didn't have this pilot bit problem. The pilot bit was a lot smaller and it sprung back really nice. But that was 30 years ago. I don't see the Snap-on man anymore, so oh well. I bought these off of Amazon. Pretty good brand. I forget the name brand, but they cut pretty good. I guess I'll go mine. One right here, one right there. String off the jacket too, right? Keep my way. It's long enough. It's got to be done. It's better to get up for. We'll have to get on. It's up. I'm going to take it up. And just kill it up. Aaron, whatever you try to use. You want to destroy it. I have a lot of work. They're able to do. It's completely unnecessary. You never see a spot on 34. This is the top one. Look at the line. It's going to be done. Right two. And everything. It's ready to do. This is going to be 50. That's the best one. Good. Okay. I think we're loose now. There we go. Alright, bottom is done except for cutting this with the grinder, with the cutting wheel, which I'll do in a moment. So, hang on. I've got this thing completely loose. What I got to do now is cut this loose from the other piece. So, I've got this completely loose now. I can take it, I'll set it down. Chisel. I've got to cut this loose. I'm going to cut one area on the inside where I don't want to fight the spot wheel because I really can't find it, and I'm going to be cutting it out anyway. So let me cut this loose right quick. Get some goggles. Wear your eye protection, people. It's only smart. See if I can get this. I know you can't see it, but let me see if I can get this. It's a tight spot. You won't be able to see it anyway, I don't think. See what that'll be. Missed it. Like that. Like that. Alright, gotta make one more cut. It was where I thought it was, which is kind of hanging off into space, which is, oh well. me show you what I just did. Here's where I just cut loose. There's a spot weld hanging off right on the edge, which is in a strange spot, but it's right there. No pun intended. I'd already cut this off earlier when I was, let me put zoom around, when I was cutting, you know, the rest of this off. The reason I had to cut right here was I had already welded my metal that I put on to here. And I didn't want to have to cut that weld completely loose and redo all that and ruin it. So I just cut it up under here and I'll weld it back together. I've got something holding me here, which is, I got to cut that loose. So I'll cut this one last seam loose here that I temporarily welded up by accident, and then we'll be out. Okay, cut that loose and we're out. Now, as far as the back side goes, here's the rust I was talking about up on the edge of the flange. Here and down here, there's a couple of pinholes in here I want to weld up. The piece is in great shape though, to be the age of it is. The piece is in pretty good shape to be the age it is. There is rust, but nothing like the other side that was completely gone. So I will fix this. I got to weld piece back in where I cut this out. I want to cut this real rusty, I want to cut this very rusty part out anyway. I'm going to come back into here somewhere, patch in. The bottom right here, the bottom part down here, I don't know. I got to grind some welds out and sandblast it and look at it. I may or may not replace, patch in down here. I don't know yet. I'm not if I don't have to. And then the core support side, pull the camera. Where I can see the core support side again is rusty. I knew there'd be rust down in here. I wanted to get all that rust out, sandblast it, and put some primer on it. Bottom flange is a little rusty, but it's not horrible. Anyway, all that's got to be cleaned up. So that's my last piece to do on the bottom side of the core support. Once I get that redone, prime, be ready to weld it back on, and that'll be done. I still got to make the pieces that go in here. Got to make the piece that goes in here. I'm working on these now. So there's still quite a bit of work left to do, but the biggest chunk of it, at least from the bottom, you know, is done. Well, that's a good thing. So I'll come back when we got more stuff going on. Alright. So I'll come back when we have more stuff to show. Here's another tip or trick that may help some of you. I just sandblasted this corner over here where, first off, I'm going to say it again, electrolysis, man, it made this sandblasting this thing so much faster and easier. But the chip I'm talking about is there's pinholes. I wouldn't have noticed these right off. That's rust. See the light? Shine the light in the back of whatever you're looking for. If there's a pinhole, it'll show right up. So I've got several pinholes right here from rust I've got to weld up. There's a couple of more on the bottom side. I'm trying not to shine the light in the camera. There's one. A couple more down here. Let me see if I can turn around and do it. Anyway, these are pretty obvious. It'd be kind of hard to miss these, although couple of these are pretty small. So especially the small ones, they can sneak by you. So I always shine a light from the back side of whatever I'm trying to find a pinhole, whether it's from rust or, you know, welding up rusty metal, which causes pinholes and stuff like that. So anyway, just, you know, that's another tip you may or may not know how to know about. So we're on to fixing up this other side. Well, that's it for now. Oh, I am going to weld these up. I didn't mention that. I'm going to weld them up, get them grind them down, and then treat them with a metal conditioner. OSPO is what I use. There's not a lot of rust left in here, but if there is some, OSPO is a really good metal conditioner. It'll kill the rust, stop it, It's one of those conversion coating types. Anyway, that's that. Okay, the section here on the end that I cut out, I think I showed that earlier. I had to cut out the rust that was in here. This is the section I cut out. Rust hole, you know, pinhole is rusty, very rusty. So what I did, this is the hole for the core support mount. All this metal over here this is the hole for the core support mount. All the metal in here is fine. It's pitted, but it's not pitted bad enough that I can't reuse it. So what I did was I cut my patch out. I left most of the original hole in place. So my patch I cut to fit like this, and I welded it up. Then all I have to do is grind out the hole, which will be pretty easy to do with a die grinder and a grinder bit. So that's what I've done. Made the patch, cut it out to fit. So it'll go into here, and obviously that'll go back into here. So that's what I'm doing now. I'll get the tripod out and show clamping it up. It bowed when I cut it apart, which I figured it would. So I'm going to use the table as a fixture to clamp it. I'll show that here in just a moment. Okay, I had to find a camera angle that would work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clamp this in. I got this end over here. I'm glad nothing vital was on that damn piece of tubing. I got this end over here that bends down, or actually right here. So I obviously can't put it flat on the table, so I'm going to have to let it hang over. This bracket bowed a decent amount when I cut it apart, so I'm going to take a little bit of clamping in the Olympics here, gymnastics, to get this thing back straight. So I'm just working through, and RC right now, I got to grind off a little more on that. But I'm tight in here, so give me just a minute to grind some of this off. Actually, I'll just get the grinder out and do it. I'm not sure if you can see it. Maybe you can. You probably couldn't see that. Anyway, I just grinding that edge off where it's high, too wide. Gonna need a little more in the middle. Okay. In case I haven't mentioned it before, I am beveling these edges where you butt weld, bevel them so you have a V weld. Well, you get the idea. You get much better weld penetration that way. Most of you guys that weld already know that. I actually bought a whiteboard to hang it any little drawings on if I ever take time to do it. I could do it in a computer program, but alright, let's see what we got now. I think you can see what I'm doing. Well, a little off here. So, more over this way. So maybe you can see better now. It's hard to get it. Hard to get a camera angle on this. My welder's sitting right in the way. but we'll get to it. So, okay, now I want to clamp the back side because the back side's bowing this way. So get me a straight edge. Piece of tubing will be perfect. Here we go. Okay. This is the same thing I did before when I was fixing the other pieces. Same process, just using tubing. The whole thing's to get things square and in line. Down to here. That's a car, by the way. I hope that was a car. Chair. If I didn't use this tubing, this end could, you know, it's right now, it's like a snake. It can just bow back and forth. So this tubing will definitely get it straight. Clamp the bottom. I'm just going to clamp. I'll be looking right at that clamp I want. I used it. Okay, never mind. So we'll just use this one. I've said it before, the old adage, you can never have enough clamps, is generally always true. Actually, I want to clamp that, but I'll do that in a moment. Then I want to clamp down here, which actually needs clamp with the fingers so I can get down in there. If I don't forget in a moment, I'll try to remember to get the clamp camera. That's in the way. I'll try to remember to take the camera off the stand before I start welding. Let you have a better look at this clamp setup. So that's going to have to be, well, that's got an extra thickness of metal in the back, which is actually not desirable. What I'm going to do is weld this lip here. I've got this extra tab right here. So what I should do is put a piece of 16 gauge behind there. But I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to weld this edge right here first to get this edge welded. Then I'll worry about clamping, adding a piece of 16 or something to do that. So for now, I'll weld. Let's see. I'll weld this seam over here. So I can get this seam and all down through here welded. Well, that at least tack that together so it's flush. So let me show. So this is the clamp situation. Clamping here to get this flush, and here to get this flush down here. We got this clamp to the back, the tube in the back. There's the tube in the back, holding the back flush. Here's a little extra tab I was talking about. I'll account for that probably by adding a piece of 16 behind here once I get the other parts welded. So let me get the welder out and we'll get everything welded up. stuff tacked together first. Pull that down a little better. Right there. Try to get that corner while I'm here. Now we'll do up here. Here. Alright, that's pretty well tacked. I'm going to go ahead and weld it up slowly but surely. I'll come back when I got it all. Well, I'll just let it run. Once again, even though it's a 16 gauge, I don't want to overheat it too much welding it because it will warp from the welding. I need a little more heat. Let's put some pressure on this side. cool. Come back, reclamp it. Okay, that's welded up. Got it welded together. Can you see? Got really good penetration on the back side, well penetration from the V-end. I may touch up a couple places, we'll see. This is that tab I was talking about. I got to make up for the extra thickness here. So I've got a piece of 16 gauge. Just going to put in behind and reclamp with the teaser. So it's the same process as before. I'll get all that clamped up and get it welded and I'll be back. So I'm going to show a trick I had never seen before. I actually saw one of the guys on YouTube doing it. However, he was doing it with a coat hanger. I don't weld with coat hangers. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So when you got a big wide gap to fill, when you have a big gap here to fill, put a welding rod. Don't use a coat hanger. But I wasn't going to say anything else about it. Anyway, it works really well. I had never seen that. I've been welding for 40 years, I guess, almost. Never had seen that before. So, guys, I saw several guys on YouTube doing it with coat hangers. Don't use coat hangers. Sorry. Anyway, it works really great. I guess if you want to weld with coat hangers, you can, but anyway. Coat hangers aren't welding rods. And I said I'd be quiet about it. I can't stop. You would never, ever, ever see anybody TIG weld with a coat hanger. So, great tip, but use welding rod. Okay, I'm done with that. Now, with that cool, get that out and see what we got. Welding rods. They're great. Where's the lens? Welding rods. Use them. I've got this piece welded and ground down. This is where I put the patch in, right here. Here's where I'll cut the hole out later when I get it on the core support. I did have to weld up some pin holes, rust holes that were in the back. So I welded those up, ground those down, clean them off from the inside. So I got this side of the core support. I got this side of the core support that I welded up the pin holes and fixed a little bit of rust in. Got it dressed and sandblasted and put some metal conditioner on it, metal prep. So I'm going to put some primer on that. This is the bracket I made. I'll prime the back side of that. Right quick. And this is just priming, insides and back sides, just stuff that I can't get to before I weld it together, because I won't be able to get to it after it's put together. And I want to have primer in as many, I want to have full coverage of primer if I can get it. And on this, I pretty much, on this core support, now that I cut it apart and we welded everything new, it's pretty much got full primer coverage inside and out everywhere, and that's a good thing. I'm priming this bottom. I'm priming this bottom flange, even though it's not really time to prime it because it's steel, bare steel, not galvanized, and it's already started rusting. So I want to go ahead and get some primer on it. Let me get a flashlight. I'll just grind away like I've been doing other places. Just grind away the places where I'm plug welding. And of course I'll be using Weld 3 primer on it as well. I want to get a really good coating. This is epoxy primer, of course. I want to get a really good coating of epoxy primer in here before I weld it all up. Coating, I should say. It's multiple coats to get it covered. I'll grind all that back off. I want to get that area coated really good too. I'll grind back off what I have to weld. Get all that while that piece is off of there too. Get up under here some more, which I've already done once, but hardly nothing wrong with doing it some more. That lip there that gets covered up. And while I'm here, of course, I got to get this too. This is the back side and the bottom here. I'll go ahead and get that lit as I can. I'm here. Alright, let's let that flash off. I'm about out of primer, so that's turned out about right. Should have just enough to finish it. Alright, you don't need to watch me prime anymore. All I'm going to do is wait for it to flash off and add another coat. So when I get some more progress, I'll come back.